What's up, YouTube? Gagaman here. Today we're going to talk about treasures in the deep. We're going to go over the mission Hard 8. This is going to be the last stage of the challenge mode, and kind of some strategies you can use to take it on and try to beat it. We'll go ahead and turn off dominance, and we'll talk a little bit about the stage. So map info is going to be pretty direct and straightforward. So just like the story mode and the earlier missions, so you have your tiles that apply the dot but reveal hidden units. You will also have a priestess that'll spawn up top, and then you have the Oculate units that pop up down here and shoot the lightning with the Priest of Rain up. They will do splash AoE damage. We'll talk about the strategies I used for this, kind of some more friendly options that you can go for, and how to approach the mission. So just come in. This is the setup I have. So I'm gonna roll with 3 tanks. So my tanks of choice are gonna be King Hars, gonna be Captain Reeves. Captain Reeves I just picked up in the event. He works wonders for the stage. And then our last tank is going to be Brokir. Tanks that you can go with differently. So I would definitely recommend any kind of tank with shielding or tanks that can survive. You could go for someone like Olog. If I used Olog, I'd probably stick him directly in the middle of the melee lane, and you'll kind of see my tank placement once we go into the stage. Evelyn you could go for, since she does have stun, which helps quite a bit. You could go for Baron with his ult shielding and his unyielding state. So just some options you can go for there as far as tanks go. Oops. As far as our DPS choices go, you're going to want to bring 2 marksmen. I highly recommend a marksman that can invis. So I'm going to go with Hatsit. So other options that you can go for as well. Fortunately, you really just don't have much as far as invis archers go, but if you have Vargas, you can use Vargas. You could go ahead and use Alora. Mine's not really built. I just pulled her this past weekend, or the weekend before, so I have Hatsit. She's going to be my choice there. You also want another single target nuker marksman. Choice is going to be Silas. You could go for Hex, however, Hex does magic damage, and our single target nuker is going to be somebody that needs to take out the Priestess. Those Priestess are resistant to magic. You want somebody that does physical. Silas works really well. If you needed to, you could probably go with like Idril, but you're going to want somebody that does physical damage in quite a bit. If you have Calypso, somebody else you could go for. You could even go with Cetrum, but Cetrum does have a very high cost, and cost is going to be very important with getting the units out. Heal-wise, so I'm going to use Vortex and Hollow. You can kind of go with whoever you want heal-wise as well, but Vortex is really nice for his shielding. Hollow is going to be great for her rage regen. You could go for someone like Nadon, but really coverage is going to be very important. Artemis you could go for to help with some DPS, but again, coverage is going to be very important, as well as our healer placement strategy. Vortex offers the shielding, so it's super important. A lot of damage in this stage. Elowen could be somebody that you could bring. I don't have Elowen, but Elowen does have her passive rage regen. Hollow is going to be a little bit better for rage regen, but I mean, Elowen's still a great choice, plus her healing output is phenomenal. So that's kind of your options for that. For our main source of AoE damage, definitely not going to bring in AoE Mage. You could bring Comet if you have Comet. I'm going to bring Bierna. You could probably, as far as free-to-play option goes, go with somebody like Iona if you have her. If you can dump Awakenings into her, you could definitely go with that. But you're going to want somebody that can blow up stuff really fast and quick. I tried Boreas. I was hoping that he could help with negating some of the Alkalit enemies that pop up. However, it was just a no-go. a lot of these enemies in this are going to be resistant to magic, so he didn't really help much. So we're going to kind of go see the fight. I'm going to show you what I do, and we'll go from there. So we're going to start off with placing Brokir. We want Brokir on the right side specifically because of his damage reduction passive. So we're going to put our AoE mage on this side. So we want to make sure that she has those defenses applied. Originally, when I was first trying this, I had Brokir in the middle lane, so that way he could provide the damage reduction to the other tanks. However, my AoE mages were dying. We're going to go ahead and put our Vierna down. Next up, we're going to place Vortex. We're going to place Vortex facing in. So we're actually not going to utilize any unit on this tile up here. So we're going to let these big guys come through. Our next place unit, because I want to make sure that I get Rage going, is going to be Hollow. I want her ult to be up by the time I deploy my marksman on the left. I'm going to have just enough cost to be able to put down Hars right before these guys come through. Next is going to be Silas. As soon as Silas gets dropped, we're going to ult with Hollow. We want to build his rage up. We want to be able to take out these two guys and do as much damage as we can. Once this guy gets right here, we're going to want to pop Viernas. A little bit more, a little bit more. We're going to pop. Boom. And we're going to drop our last tank. Not really sure why this guy didn't die. He definitely was at the 35% threshold, but whatever. Next up, we are going to watch our units here. Our Alkalids coming out. We want to wait to drop our marksman until there is two of them. We're not going to ult with Silas just yet. We're going to save his. We're just going to watch. We're going to watch. Okay, here's our second. They're going to attack, like, right here. And then they're going to walk through. We're going to wait. Ooh. Go ahead and drop. And then we're going to nuke him out. I've never tried this, but I wonder if I can get Aeon's ult off to kind of kill that reduction. Let's see. No, it didn't work. I was hoping it would. Not a big deal. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and drop Aelin up until our Hotset's ready to go. We're gonna pop our Hollow so that way we can get some ults going. And then we're gonna use Hars. And I'm actually just gonna use Vierna right now to nuke these guys out. Because Hollow's ult up. They should have Rage by the next time I need it. We're gonna go ahead and we need to hit Silas now. We want to do as much damage to these shielded guys as possible. And we're going to pop Aelin out. This is the tricky part, because we want this big guy out. I can go ahead. I think it's safe to pull Silas. Perfect. So you want to get this guy up as dead as you can get him. just a second late. Silas you want to watch like a hawk because you need to be able to do as much damage to these units coming in as possible. We're going to go ahead and ult with Captain Reeves. This gets like super close. Yeah. So that one unit came through. We'll let it go for strategy purposes. But if you have a situation like that happen, just restart it. More than likely that happens just because some random stuff. I mean, it's kind of... It all depends on Reeves' CC. If you use like Yona on the middle, then you're going to be able to have her slow as well. Going to do some extra damage. We're going to pop just some extra defense in for just a second. Now we don't necessarily need to use our Vierna anymore. I normally wait for Silas. You can kind of see there that Vierna almost got chunked by that attack. Almost decimated. We don't want to use any ults yet up until we get everybody going, because at 50% the boss splits into different adds, and you want to try to take out as many adds as possible. The amount of adds that are up once he's left standing is going to increase the amount of damage he does. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to take off our Aelin, we're going to pop our Silas there. Remember, we want to, like, our main DPS focuses, we don't want them to die. And then we're going to go ahead and right there. Speed it up just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and chunk with Silas. Going to get him down to 50%, and he's going to split. You'll notice that Silas still has ult up, which is perfect. We got two of them out. It's pretty good. I'm alright with that. Two of them will form. They don't really do like crazy damage, but just know that it is going to increase. So if your tanks were struggling just a little bit, we're gonna go ahead. We don't need Hotset anymore. We're going to actually replace it with Aelin in the back. We don't have to worry about Aelin anymore taking any damage. She's about halfway, so her stacks are up. And then boom, right there. Yeah, the one ad did go through. I've already gotten a 3-star on this, so but I just wanted to give kind of like an idea of what you should do for it. But yeah, if you do have like that one ad that comes through, when I used Vierna's ult earlier in Reeves, you can kind of save it for there, for when that buildup happens, or whatever DPS you have. If you use Comet, especially if you have, you know, like Venoma, then you should be alright. I didn't have a lot of success using Comet. He just couldn't get his ult up fast enough. Mine is fully skilled out and decked out, but I just didn't have enough rage build up to really support him. And we're already, as you can see, every unit that we brought, I didn't really need to drop Aeon. I wanted to just see if I could displace the defensive ads up top. Didn't work, but the only unit I didn't drop was our Aeon. So every other unit got dropped. So technically you could drop the Lord bonus and bring Laurel. You're gonna lose that on those stats though. So we'll go ahead and show off just kind of the gear of my units, so that way you can get a base idea. I will say the BP recommended is 706, so you're going to want at least a decent team on there. but we'll just go through and take a look at the units that I used. At least the important ones. So Silas, pretty decked out. You know, he is an Infernal Roar on the right side. So his main job was taking out those Priests of Rain. So you do want somebody that can chunk pretty hard. Like I mentioned before, Hex, you can go for Hex, but he does magic damage. So he is going to be at somewhat of a disadvantage. So you want a strong Piercer that's going to be able to nuke those down pretty fast. But yeah, there's my Silas. Great attack, really nice attack speed. I guess we'll just look at totals here. But yeah, so great attack, really nice attack speed. So he's actually got a 1 second attack interval, which is fantastic. Crit rate, I always aim for about 90% and above. So obviously it's not 100. There's going to be some attacks that don't crit, but I never have to worry about damage with him. And then his crit damage over 300%. So as long 280 is kind of like the minimum you want to base for, but yeah, we had 312 total. So Silas, pretty important. That's not near as important as some of the other units, but we'll take a look. So he's got a set of Ageless Wrath on, that wise. So again, really nice attack. She's got a 1.2 second interval. Would like to get her a little faster, but that's still a really good interval, so I'm alright with that. Almost at crit cap, 313% crit damage. So she takes care of those ads on the right side. Take a look at Vierna. So I have Vierna and Cursed. I'm not going to ult enough for Soulbound Arcana to really be worth it on her. So I just wanted to be able to utilize something to get that damage out. I guess I didn't mention the other two artifacts, but I do have a Spirit Siphon maxed out on Silas. And then we have a Reaper's Emblem on Hatsit. So if you don't use Reaper's Emblem, I love this on Hatsit, especially with how fast she can get kills, because it's going to increase the damage every time she gets a kill. So when she gets 2 kills, she's going to get that 18% damage boost for 10 seconds. I find it works really well, especially like when I need her to kill lots of ads really quick. But yeah, so that's what I have on her. Vierna, we'll just say she's got a tier, not a maxed out one, but she's got a pretty good tier on her. Gear-wise, like I said, Curse. I'm not going to ult enough for Soulbound Arcana to really be worth it, so at least with the Curse set, I'm going to get that damage increase with the amount of enemies. As you saw, I let enemies stack in her attack range quite frequently, because we want to one-shot with her ultimate. The more enemies in that attack range when we attack is just going to boost that up. So you want to get that damage from the start. You could go, if you had a decent Aegis Wrath set, that's something you could go for as well, since her crit damage is going to be amplified. Soulbound Arcana is amazing on her. You can go for that. Just know that your initial ultimates are going to be a little bit weaker until you get more ultimates off. I think I only ultimate with her 3 times during that fight, so you know there was definitely some room for improvement. But yeah, so Vierna. Take a look at our tanks. So, King Hars, nothing too fancy. He's got over 100k health. He has pretty good defense. You want to try to stack attack speed on him since he can proc freezing. But yeah, I do have A1 Hars, so I do have his AoE shield, which works really nicely. Artifact wise, I mean, just Bastion Ring, and I don't think my tanks have maxed out artifacts other than maybe Brokir. Bastion Ring, really, you're just gonna get the extra damage reduction, but I've never experienced anything where I needed to max out my tank artifacts versus my DPS or healer artifacts. Reeve, I've got him in as exclusive. Picked it up, it's not even maxed out yet, but we just wanted the extra damage during his ult. Gear-wise, again, I'm trying to squeeze out extra damage with him, so I do have him in a Glacier set with a slight focus on HP and a decent amount of focus on attack. I would have loved to get him crit capped, but 95% still above, a really good number. Crit damage, just going to be trying to find out how to squeeze more crit damage into him. I just picked him up, literally just got him yesterday, so I'll have to kind of play around with his gear, get him in a good spot. But I mean, he's got just under 90k HP, got a really nice attack. He's got barely any attack speed on him, so It's just going to be getting good pieces of glacial that roll real well. Was not very fortunate with Gear Dungeon and getting anything that was worthwhile, so there are some sets that would have been real nice from there, like Brow, but unfortunately just didn't get it. So that would be our Reeve, and then Rokir. Rokir, he's got over 100k HP, got a decent amount of defense. Yeah, I mean, we're just needing Rokir to tank. I do have him in Glacial. It's just kind of the HP pieces that I had. Doesn't need to be. He can be. Originally, he was in like mixed sets, and I just kind of played around with stuff. I got these ancient pieces from the last Gear 2 event, stuck them on him just to squeeze out, you know, some extra substats here and there, but nothing too fancy. And heal-wise, they have Vortex. Nothing too crazy about Vortex. Obviously, he's an HP-based healer, so with Vortex, over 48k HP is going to make him super tanky and have a real nice healing output. Whenever a unit barely takes damage and he heals them, you get that overflow for shield. So you want to stack HP and attack speed. So his attack speed is down to 1.7. And as far as healing effect goes, 100 is about where you want to be at, so he's just about right at 100. But the main things you want are attack speed and then HP with him. And then Hollow. Hollow is in Big, not taking advantage of it during this fight because your placement of units is very key. And so it's just going to get stuck on a tank. So we do not take advantage of that with her at all. But do have her in, so she has 1400 attack. And then she's got a pretty decent attack speed interval. I like my healers to be about 1.5, so anywhere close to that is, I find, really good. And then you know, she's got a decent amount of rage regen, way over the healing effect I need, but gear rolls, you guys understand that. Artifact wise, I do have her in a Euphoric Orb, and then Vortex is just in an Elysian Epitaph. Really, he could be in anything, it doesn't matter too much. You do want the extra HP from his artifact, you can go with there. Aelin, she's mainly there to put out that defensive reduction. She's in a Tia's Balm, nothing special. Gear wise, again, nothing special. She's got 12k attack, and then I mean, I do have her at the heal effect I need, and then she's got almost a, you know, she's got a pretty decent attack interval on her. But yeah, she's, again, there mainly just to apply that reduction. And then for you guys that don't know, so right here, Moonlight stacks, when they reach a certain amount of stacks, you're going to get damage reduction for your allies receive less damage. So it is very nice to have. She's also a 6-cost healer, so she comes in clutch a lot. Those are the units I use. Like I mentioned before, heal-wise, I mean, you should have Vortex. Hollow can be kind of temperamental for some people, I think. If you don't have either one of these for any reason, you could go for somebody like Madon. Madon provides that damage reduction during her ult. But really, you're just going to want somebody that can keep people up. Having the shielding from Vortex is really nice. So kind of a little bit of mix and match there. Tank-wise, having the Northern bonus is nice, so you could definitely go for someone like a Solde. But then, yeah, like I mentioned, you have Rokir, Baron. Livian's okay, because when she shield tosses, she gets healing back, but the main things are just going to be survival, so if your Livian can survive, go for it. Avalyn's nice, she has the additional block, so you could go for something like Avalyn. And then, yeah, other than that, you know, we kind of talked about some different options there, but hopefully these kinds of things help you guys out. If you have any questions, anything specific, just let me know, and try to get your questions answered. Thanks for watching. You guys have a great day.